Pamela Ann Wojaz, born August 16, 1967, is an American criminal who was convicted of conspiring with her 15-year-old lover, William Flynn, also known as Billy Flynn, and three of his friends to kill her 24-year-old husband, Gregory Smart, on May 1, 1990, in Derry, New Hampshire. She was later convicted of being an accomplice to first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and witness tampering. She is currently serving a life sentence at Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women, a maximum security prison in Westchester County, New York. Pam met Gregory Smart at a 1986 New Year's Eve party. They formed a serious relationship in February 1987 and married 2 years later. Pam and Greg shared a passion for heavy metal music, but 7 months into the marriage, they began having serious problems in their relationship, and Pam took a job as a media coordinator at a high school in Hampton, New Hampshire. Pam Smart met student William Flynn, known as Billy, at Project Self-Esteem, a local drug awareness program at Winnicott High School, where both were volunteers. They bonded over their mutual interest in heavy metal music. Flynn was a sophomore. Pam also met another intern named Cecilia Pierce, who was friends with Flynn. On May 1st, 1990, Pamela Smart came home from a meeting at work to find her condominium ransacked and her husband murdered. Police officials say the crime scene looked like a disruptive burglary. Smart was later accused of seducing 15-year-old Billy Flynn and threatening to stop having sex with him unless he killed her husband. Billy did so with the help of his friend Patrick Pete Randall, Vance Jr. Latime, and Raymond Fowler. During the investigation, Vance Latime's father brought a 38 caliber pistol he had found in his house to the authorities, believing it might have been the murder weapon. On May 14, 1990, an anonymous tip also indicated that a teenager named Cecilia Pierce was aware of the plan. Police talked to Cecilia, who then agreed to wear a wire and record some conversation with Pam Smart in hopes that she would say something incriminating, in which Pam did. On August 1st, 1990, at 1:05 p.m., Detective Daniel Pelletier entered Pam Smart's office unannounced. Pam recognized him, having spoken to him at least 6 other occasions. Taken by surprise, she asked, "What's up?" "Well, Pam," Pelletier said in the recording, "I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is that we've solved the murder of your husband. The bad news is you're under arrest." "What for?" Pam asked. "First-degree murder." "Stand up and face the wall." Smart was then handcuffed and arraigned at the Derry District Court and jailed at the New Hampshire State Prison for Women. Pam Smart's trial was widely watched and got a lot of media attention. She faced life in prison if convicted. The prosecution's case relied heavily on the testimony from Pam Smart's teenage co-conspirators, who had secured their own plea bargains before her trial began. When Pam Smart's trial began March 4, 1991, the prosecution portrayed the teenagers as naive victims of an evil woman bent on murder. The prosecution portrayed Pamela Smart as the cold-blooded mastermind who controlled her young lover and seduced Flynn to get him to murder her husband so that she could avoid an expensive divorce and benefit from a $140,000 life insurance policy. In her testimony, Pam acknowledged that she had an affair with the teenager, but claimed that the murder of her husband was solely the doing of Flynn and his friends as a reaction to her telling Billy that she wished to end their relationship and repair her marriage. Pam insisted that she neither participated in the murder plot nor had any foreknowledge of it. Though Billy claimed he had fallen in love with Pam when he first met her, Cecilia Pierce testified at trial that Smart and Flynn were originally just friends. Cecilia first noticed a change about February when Pam confessed to her that she loved Billy Flynn. Billy Flynn testified at trial that he was a virgin before he had sex with Pamela Smart. After a 14-day trial on March 22, 1991, in the Rockingham County Superior Court, Pam Smart was found guilty of being an accomplice to first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and witness tampering. The tampering stemmed from Pamela's coercing Cecilia not to say anything to authorities or to lie. The conviction was largely the result of the testimony of her co-conspirators and a secretly taped conversation in which Pam appeared to contradict her claims of having wanted to reconcile with her husband and having no knowledge of the boys' plot. She could have been charged with capital murder, but the prosecution decided against it. Later that day, she was given a mandatory sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Pam Smart is serving her life sentence at the maximum security Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women in Westchester County, New York, where she was transferred in 1993 from the New Hampshire State Prison for Women. Although she still maintains her innocence, Pam has admitted that Greg Smart would still be alive if she had not had an affair with Billy Flynn. Smart says she still keeps track of Flynn because she regards him as being the key to her freedom. He is one of the few people that could actually get me out of here by coming forward and telling the truth, but he's never going to do that, Pam Smart said. Billy Flynn and Patrick Randall were both sentenced to life in prison for second-degree murder with the possibility of parole, and they both have made parole. Vance Latomy was sentenced to life in prison as an accomplice to second-degree murder with the possibility of parole, and he has made parole. Raymond Fowler, who waited in the car during the killing, was sentenced to 30 years for conspiracy to murder and attempted burglary, and he has also made parole.